All right, so we're going to get into local storage and session storage. Now, while these are APIs that are available with HTML5, there's quite a bit of JavaScript involved. In fact, most of the work that we'll do here is in JavaScript. So I'm going to try to keep it very simple. Whether you know JavaScript or not, the logic is pretty easy to understand, especially if you know some other kind of programming language or just the very basic fundamentals of any programming language. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a script tag down here, and we're going to set a local storage item. All right, so a local storage item has to be a string. Now, if you wanted to store something like a JSON object, you can do that, but you have to first parse it into a string, and then when you want to use it again, you have to parse it back into JavaScript or JSON. All right, but we're not going to get into that. That's more advanced. So let's just set a very basic variable or value. So we'll say store an item. And what we want to do is say local storage dot set item, and we want to put in I guess a variable for what we want to set. We'll call it name, and then we're just going to set it to a string John Doe. Okay, so this one line here actually sets a local storage item for us. Okay, now if we want to get that item back, we can say local storage dot get item. Okay, you can see the syntax is very simple, and just pass in name. All right, now we want to do something with this. For now, we'll just log it in the console. So we'll say console.log and save it. And in Chrome, we'll hit F12 to open up the console. We'll reload, and you can see that it gives us John Doe. Okay, so it's that easy. Now, you probably want to somehow get this into your application or your web page. So what we'll do is just create a div here, and we'll give it an ID of name, and then down here we'll say document dot get element by ID, and that element ID is name. And then what we'll do is just say dot inner HTML equals, and then we'll say this right here, local storage dot get item name. Save that, reload, and now we have our name displayed in the browser. Now you can also even make this even shorter, this get item. You can actually just say local storage dot and then whatever that variable. In this case, it's name. So if we reload, you can see it's still console logging John Doe. All right, now if you want to remove an item, you can do that as well. And we can just say local storage dot remove item, and then we'll pass in name. So now if we save and reload, you can see that up here we're not getting anything. It is console logging because we have that before we actually remove the item. But if I want to take that and move it up here, it's going to remove it before it's able to console log it, which makes it undefined. All right, now before you use a local storage item, you're probably going to want to test for it first. So let's go ahead and let's see, right down here, and let's put an if statement. Okay, we'll do an if else, and we want to test for the local storage dot name. If there is one, then let's go ahead and cut that, put that in there. If there isn't, then instead of putting the local storage get item, we're just going to say no name found. Okay, and if we reload that, you can see we get no name found. Now, it's also a good idea to actually check to make sure the browser can use web storage. So we're going to wrap everything here in an if statement. So I'm just going to grab all of this, put that in there, Okay, and let's see, this is going to do else. So else, then let's just do console.log. And we'll say local storage not available. All right, and then all we need to test for here is we need to say type of storage is not equal to undefined. All right, because if it's not compatible, if it's not available, it's going to be equal undefined. If we reload, we're not going to see any difference because it is available. All right, now that's local storage, and what that does is it'll keep that name value. Let's go ahead and comment out the remove. It'll keep that value until you clear your cache or clear your browser cache, even if we close the browser. All right, so if you want values that are going to go away once you close the browser, then you want to use session storage. And session storage works, the API, the syntax is the exact same as local storage. So there's nothing really new to learn there. What we can do is comment this out and just copy all of it. And you can just change local storage to session storage. In this case, we'll change the name to, let's say, Matt Smith. And then we'll just replace all the local with session. All right, so we'll save that, and if we reload, we get Matt Smith because we're now dealing with session storage. And if you're using Chrome, you can go ahead and use the let's see, where is it? Sources, no, application, and you can see under session storage, it gives us that value. Local storage, we have John Doe as our name. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about drag and drop, as well as being able to edit content with Content Editable. So I will see you then.